Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir and I am fashionably late. Actually, what I am is I'm in my hotel room. I'm in my suite here. Last minute, basically, business trip, and I wanted to cover some books from last week. Like Excalibur #1. Safe Sex. I made allusions to that book, to the second issue of that series, which, for the record, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot better than the first one. The problem is, when I left, I forgot to pack those books. I had some stuff I want to do videos since I'm in my hotel room, and I forgot to bring the comics. And I could have gone to the comic shop and replaced them, but to be honest, it kind of sucks to drive around here. The traffic always sucks. I hate driving around here out of the way. So I figured I'd just wait till Wednesday and get the new issues. And there are some doozies this week. This right here is New Mutants #1. Now, I always bitch about the variant covers. And I'm not bitching about this one. Wonder why? Hmm. Okay, I'm a straight guy. I'm going to be honest, and I'm also a boob guy. And Magic is one of my favorite mutants. Definitely my favorite new mutant. Person on the team. I love her character, and as a straight guy, I'd like cheesecake, and I will make no apologies for that ever. Um, for like, hey, this is an attractive drawing. I like it. I'm not going to be guilted or, you know, made to feel bad about actually being a straight male. So, yeah, screw you, SJWs, and those that are killing everything that's going on in the industry. Sometimes little cheesecake is good. And this is a great drawing. That is really good. Kind of reminds me of, like, if Magic was in Marvel versus Capcom. I imagine it would look like this. That would be her character picture. But anyway, this is New Mutants #1 variant cover, Magic variant cover. And I was a big fan of the New Mutants. I was actually a big fan of both Marvel's mutant books. When it was Uncanny X-Men, then they had the New Mutants graphic novel, and then they got their own series. This book was really, well, New Mutants was really good back then. It did get kind of bad a little bit later when they, like the whole Gossamer animators storyline, and then eventually became X-Force because it was pretty much garbage by then. But the first, I don't know, off the top of my head, 50 issues, 40, 50 issues are really good. Should check them out someday. And here we are, we're in the post House slash Powers X-Men universe, where Hickman is building up whatever storyline he's building up to. And so we're still dealing with Krakoa. Now, it opens up really well. If you're not really familiar with the New Mutants, I think, who wrote this? It was Hickman, and I'm blanking on the co-writer, Bryson, Ed Bryson. Uh, I don't know if it's just like Hickman's plots, and Ed is writing the characters, um, but I think he has the voices down pretty well. Um, so here we see Rain Sinclair, Wolfsbane, basically being reborn. She's coming out of her pod. There's Professor X and Storm, and yeah, basically the whole little greeting. And, Wolfsbane was a very, like, shy, very religious character. And they ended up, she's one of those characters that pretty much got ruined um, with Marvel. They didn't know what to do with her. And here we have, her reborn on Krakoa. And this smile here, if you read the original New Mutants, this panel here is a very heavy panel. It makes a lot of sense. It is, it's really nice to see his character, just peace and happiness. And when Shan walks up here and is talking to her, and you know, it's like I died and went to heaven. Well, not to put too fine a point on it, kiddo, but you kind of did. And she's like, I don't know, I really am. I'm really happy. And you see, it's kind of cute. And then we go over, and you got the intro, got all this. And then we get, oh yeah, I was going to go to Danny Moonstar and Sunspot, but no. Here we have Doug Ramsey, and I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's also kind of a dick. I find that really annoying, really enjoyable. He was kind of an annoying character before. He wasn't really appreciated until he died. And now he comes back, he's kind of a dick. He's got the warlock arm there. And they're trying to communicate with Krakoa, and it does not go well at all. And it's enough to even scare Doug Ramsey. So, now that he's back alive, and that Psylocke is back in her original body, are they going to talk about the two of them? Are they going to... If you read the original series, there was kind of a weird Claremont flirtation with Psylocke and her very underage student. He wasn't really her student, but there was this weird thing going on with them that, it was Chris Claremont. He did stuff like that. And yeah, and let's never speak of this again. So we have, now, here's Danny Moonstar and Sunspot, and they're talking, going back. And there's if I have one little nitpick, and it's something that just sticks out to me like a sore thumb. So as they're walking, which is a very manly strut that Danny Moonstar has going on there, they're walking, you get to see some of the stuff going on Krakoa. Is that Monet? I can never remember all the Generation X people. And we got Moonstar on the left, we have Sunspot on the right, okay, and when they walk into this building, now they've switched sides. She's on the right, Sunspot's on the left. I believe in film that's called a bad match on action, because it's not a reflection that they're looking at. It's them actually walking in, so that bugged me. And so we get this whole little thing where, they get the coffee that's specially made with, like, innocence and sincerity or something. It's a kind of goofy little scene. And Magic apparently is really addicted to this coffee and will not share it. Okay, the thing about this is we get these scenes, these character interactions, and I think Grissom is doing a great job of this, where we get all the characters. These are the characters we know. There's so many times in the Marvel Universe where you pick up a book and you flip through it and you're reading it and you see the character and you have no idea who this is. You recognize the name, you may recognize the face, but they don't act like any iteration that they ever have. And that's how the character is now. You read these characters and you say, yeah, I can see how these people were the New Mutants I read before. Then we get this weird spot where they're talking about Cannonball and how he's out in space with his family and the Shi'ar, and Sunspot says, want to go for a ride? And boom, they're suddenly out in space. So basically, they are paying the Starjammers, Cyclops' dad, Corsair, and all them to take them to Shi'ar space. Is it Shi'ar or Shi'ar? I think I've always called it Shi'ar. And so they have a little bit of Krakoa with them so that they can teleport back home, because he basically, Corsair is just dropping them off. He's not giving them a ride back. He's not taking them to where they need to go. And hilarity ensues, basically, at this point. The garden gets affected by the bit of Krakoa, and it kills plants. Magic, they have a training battle, kind of like a Danger Room thing, and she cuts off his arm. So basically, all the Starjammers are getting pissed off by the New Mutants. They're acting kind of like bad guests. And I probably will stop here soon. Um, Corsair lies about why they're making this stop at the space station. And he makes it seem like there's people that need to be helped and, prisoners, so stay on the ship. And yeah, they, of course, knowing that there are people out there that need to be helped, that's what the New Mutants do. They go out and they try to save people, even though Sunspot tries to talk them out of it. And yeah, it turns out Corsair lied. Yeah, he lied about it and ends up dumping everyone out in space to get busted by the Shi'ar. And I'm going to stop right there. There's still quite a bit left. Like all the other number ones, this is an exercised issue. And a few things about this is, now, maybe the New Mutants tick them off, while they're on their way out to space. And that's why Corsair set them up, lied for them to basically get caught. Maybe to help him make a getaway. It seems kind of weird that he would do that, given that he actually mentions that, my son said you guys needed a ride and you're going to pay me for it. I know they're pirates, they're not supposed to be the good guys, but it seems weird that they would throw the New Mutants to the Shi'ar wolves like that. And also, I'm a little bit disappointed that we're getting the New Mutants in space. Now, I know this is probably to set up for the whole phalanx thing. That was brought up in the... Was it Powers of X? I think it was Powers of X. One of the books that was brought up. I'm already starting to mix up which one. And so this is probably a reason to give them... A reason for them to go out to space, to run into the phalanx, and maybe Gossamer. Maybe that would be great. I mean, I would not put it past Hickman to somehow put in Gossamer. Maybe what she eventually evolved into will be the creature that they fight. That would be pretty good. So anyway, what did I think of this book? I enjoyed it. I really did like this book. We see the characters' personalities. We don't get to see them all show off their powers. I mean, they didn't really get a chance to. We never saw Wolfsbane, turn into a wolf or even half wolf. We get to see Chambers show off his powers. Sunspot, we never get to see that. We get to see that, Magic is the butt kicker of the team. And unfortunately, as the strongest, as the most powerful, she gets taken out early. Because that's what happens. She gets taken out faster than, the only way she would have gone down quicker for the plot is if she was a telepath. And then she would have been out immediately. She never would have left the ship. She would have bumped her head. So there's a few little things on there that, as the plot demands, happens. But otherwise, if you read the New Mutants book back then, or have read it since, those early issues, it wasn't so much always about the adventure. It was the characters and how they got along. And the characters do get along very well here. Maybe a little bit better than they used to, but they're older now. And, if you have Sunspot drinking whiskey, the New Mutants all are probably in their early 20s now. If Kitty Pryde and, that's the thing we're missing. Good Kitty Pryde and Magic being together again. So, anyway, 12:30. I'd go 12:30 on this book. A few things I didn't really care for, but they were so minor. I don't really care for the idea of them in space. I always felt they were better on the ground, but the New Mutants have a history of going to space. So, it's not so bad. Okay, fine. I can handle it. So, yeah, I'm okay with this. This has been one of my favorite books of all the number ones. I haven't read Marauders yet. I still have that one. Speaking of Kitty Pryde, I haven't read it. But with Excalibur and X-Men, this has probably been my favorite one. So, anyway, I give this a recommend. And I'm going to actually call it a night. My my throat is starting to go. You can probably hear it getting all dried out here. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.